Okay. All right. So we're going to keep going with the current unit, jumping to lesson 4. And the app for lesson 4 is, or the entire lesson 4 is just showing the example app and then doing the programming for it as usual. If you need to rejoin the meeting, feel free. Okay. And so do we have anything here? Do we have I don't think I have any programming there. So basic rock, paper, scissors app that has 3 different inputs with the user's selection in the bottom and whether or not, or rather the computer's random guess, I suppose, and the output or the score output. So let's take a look at what we actually get. Okay, so that's it for instructions right there. And we get some icons, hard-coded strings that are the characters for rock, paper, and scissors. And we get some strings that are those words in quotes, so we can refer to them directly, okay, because they are what's used in the parameter, technically argument, but the to be sent when the event handlers are clicked, and that is the only parameter received by the update screen function. Okay, so we have a single function for each of the 3 buttons, the rock, paper, and scissors buttons, and based on whatever they chose, that's what's getting assigned to player choice. And anywhere we use player choice will be that that word. Okay, so we need to, I don't think we have that much to do here. We do have a couple things. So we have some return functions, which are like functions we are calling random choose, decide winner, and find icon are all also functions that are sending parameters and expecting some return. Okay, so let's take a look at these functions that we have at our access, or that we will have to write. First one is called find icon. It's expecting a string as its input, and the input is going to be whatever the name of the text input is, based on which one is this called? This is called find icon, and it's used as the set image when we actually have an input. And yes, it's returning it's going to return a string, and it's going to be whatever you would need in order to set an image. Okay, so this is the point. We are using functions with parameters intentionally because this function call with the parameter will return the image string that we're looking for to do the set image. This entire function will run, and once we're done writing it, we'll send back the appropriate string. Okay, second one, random choose, randomly select an item from the list. So this is clearly for the computer's choice. We send it choices, which is actually the global list, which you don't really need to send global variables as parameters, but it's fine. It works out here. We send it the entire list, and that is important that we have a single parameter expected, and its data type is a list. Now, we've named that parameter list, so that helps. And the return, it's expecting a single item in return, that is randomly chosen from the list, which should be, I mean, it's not random item, it's a string, but it's the word from one of these items or one of the indexes from choices chosen at random, and they're in the same format of whatever the user chooses, those strings with, initial caps, rock, paper, or scissors. And then we can call decide winner. Decide winner is receiving both choices and then returning who wins. Okay, either player or computer. And winner will be the result of that arithmetic, the result of that algorithm of checking either. And so let's figure this out. Let's do random choose first. And we'll have an output that makes sense. So random choose is supposed to, it receives the list of all the choices, the string, the set of strings with the words rock, paper, scissors. And we need to send something back from that. Okay. And we are using whatever list gets sent to it. And we want to send back something from that list chosen at random. So we can actually use what's here. We want to return something from the list that gets sent from a valid index from any list between 0 and, hopefully the audio was picked up on that. We'll try again later. If not, between 0 and list.length -1. And this works. This function will work for any list the way it's written. You send it any list as the parameter for the function, and it will return one of the items. Okay. And it doesn't just have to be for choices. We could call, and a lot of times when you're testing return functions, you just put them in the console log to see what's going on. Let's call function, and we can do it for icons. So the name of the function is random choose, and we'll send it. That's not what I want. Random choose. I've got that bug. Give me a second. Okay, if we call random choose, you don't need to do this right now, but paying attention, call random choose with, it's easier just to bring out the function with parameter thing. The function name is random choose, and we'll send it a list. I don't know, let's send icons now. And it should return one of those strings at random. There we go, rock, and rock again. And there's no way we're getting the same one each time. There we go, scissors. So the key is this entire function will, wherever you put it, will equate to one item chosen at random from whatever list you put the name of here. The way we're using it here in this app is to have the user, or excuse me, have the computer choose one of the options at random, which we can test here just by console logging computer choice. And why don't you go ahead and do that just to make sure yours works. And so we hit run, and this is only going to get called when we click a button, but it doesn't matter. We just want our user output to be something chosen at random each time. Each time we click any one of the buttons, it calls this and chooses the computer's option at random. Okay, and let's see here. So we have our computer chosen at random, or computer choice at random. Let's do decide winner next. Because we have both of these, the player choice, which is whatever the button was pressed, whatever button was pressed gets player choice, and whatever the computer chose based on the random, we have both of those, we can compare them and return a winner. Okay. And yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Okay. The function is decide winner. And we are going to either return player or computer. And I think I don't know why I'm having that bug. Okay. So we need a conditional. We get two inputs and we need to return the correct output. So we need our algorithm for rock, paper, scissors. So we have two things to check. We can check, there's so many combinations. There's 9 combinations, 3 choices for user and 3 choices for, 3 choices for player and 3 choices for computer, which makes 9 options. So in theory, we could do a 9 slotted if else, but that doesn't make too much sense. Let's see how we can do this. Well, first, we know that if they're the same, it's a draw, right? So we can get rid of all of the ties in a single row of this. Okay, if player choice double equals computer choice, it's a tie. So we can return draw. We'll return the string draw, which this word, the string, isn't going to show up anywhere on the in the output, but it is going to be what we use when we do the output. Oh, wait, I guess it is. Well, we are using it as the conditional, but then there is the output later on, but it's technically the different string anyway. Okay, so we've crossed off every possible combination for ties. So what does that leave us? That leaves us with any one where they're different, but let's make conditionals for player choice, and then we can compare them. So for player choice, if player choice double equals rock, and then if player choice double equals paper, and this doesn't have to be in rock, paper, scissors order, but it's easier to remember that. And the else means the player chose scissors. Now, each one of these slots is going to get the 2 remaining options for the computer's choice. Okay, instead of doing if player choice equals rock and computer choice equals paper, return computer. We can just have this entire area in here is all of the situations where the player chose rock. And so there are only 2 options for the computer if the player chose rock, because we've crossed out anytime they both chose rock. Okay, this first condition is, it doesn't matter what they are. If they match, it gets sent. And that is one of the important concepts of return. Return ends the function. So even though we are familiar with how conditionals work, where it ends, once it gets something true, it ends the conditional that it's in, return will end the function wherever it is, if it gets called, through whatever conditional path it takes. But either way, this area right here is every scenario where the player has chosen rock. So we just need to check the computer's other possible choices. So if computer choice double equals paper, in quotes, then we want to, this is every scenario where the computer has chosen rock. And so rock against paper returns computer. Computer wins. Is that what we are expecting for our conditional? Yeah. So we need to send back either draw player or computer every time to the variable winner, which decide winner is what's happening. This entire function is going to be sent or add up to, calculate, whatever we return. So if we have, is that spelled correctly? My eyes are blurring. This is all the player chose rock. If the computer chose paper, it's computer win. The only other scenario is player rock, computer scissors. The only thing that could go here is player rock, computer scissors, which means the winner is player. I'll give you a minute or two to a head start to see if you can wrap this up. I'll give you a hint of what it's going to look like is each one of these is going to have an if else, and everything this I'll just put it here. Everything in this slot is if the user chose rock. Everything in this slot is if the user chose paper. And the only other scenario is the user chose scissors. And then you're just comparing against the two remaining possible computer choices. All right, let me give you a timer in a couple minutes. All right. Okay. So this middle one is any scenario where the player chose paper. So then we just need to check against computer rock. If computer choice double equals in quotes rock. So player paper computer rock means player wins, right? Paper covers rock. And the other scenario is computer wins. because the other scenario is player, paper, computer, scissors. It has to be. Now, of course, like again, the computer could choose any of the three, but it would never get here if it was paper, paper, because paper, paper would get popped out right away. And then the last one, this is if the user chose scissors, is the only way it would get to the else. Then we just need to compare if user scissors, if computer choice double equals paper, then computer scissors, player scissors, computer paper is player wins. And the other scenario is player scissors, computer rock means computer wins. And let's, we don't want to return player. Well, it's never going to make its, the function, the conditional will never make it that far because of our, the particular way that the possibilities are coming in. It would never get past the end of the function or the end of the if else statement. And let's see if this works. So we've got decide winner, and let's just console log winner. I'd also like to console log each of the options just to make sure. Okay, so we'll console log player choice and console log computer choice and console log what's supposed to be the result of those two. And so we run and let's choose rock. Rock is a draw. Good. And paper scissors is computer. Good. And it's already giving us some count. Excellent. So yeah, computer wins, draw, player wins. All right, so we are getting close. The only other thing we need to do is make sure that the icon is correct. Okay, we want this one to be whatever icon the user clicks on, and this one to be the computer's choice. So we have this function find icon, and we can send it either one of our variables, and it's going to return the appropriate image URL. Okay, each of these are either going to be rock, paper, or scissors in quotes, that string. So when we send it, that's what we will be checking against. Let's go through find icon, and icon is receiving either rock, paper, or scissors. And there, of course, are a lot of ways to do this. Let's do it the most straightforward way, where let's just do a basic conditional. Okay, if icon name, which is whatever's going to be sent to us, double equals rock. We could do like a dot contains, because each of these strings has the word of the thing that we are checking. It's a little bit unnecessary for this situation, but if we want, so if whatever word gets sent is rock, we want to give it the first item in the list, which is icons index 0. And then we need if icon name double equals paper, we want to return the second item in the list because that is the correct icon for paper. And then the only way it would ever get to an else is if it got sent scissors, and this function works for either of these. We're calling the same function, find icon, sending it either rock, paper, or scissors, depending on what is calculated. And it's being turned into the entire string that is going to be the image URL. Okay, the return, whatever is returned is, oh wait, this is supposed to be 2. Whatever is returned is what this function call turns into. Okay, we will get into other ways that it's used, like in conditionals, where you could say if, and then the function like is even, and then send it, receive a num. Okay. And then whatever you wanted to do if the number is even, where this entire function could be written to send back either a true or false. Okay. And a lot of times return functions, that's their result, is a true or false statement, a way of checking something, sending it higher or lower, different parameters, that sort of thing. So let's see. Okay, so rock, paper, computer wins. Rock, scissors, we win. And I think that's it. Haven't gotten a draw yet. There's a draw. There aren't really any other like bonus add-ons like we had for the previous lesson, but I think that's what we're going to go with. Let's see, is there any other bonus things here? No, that's the only instructions. Yeah, so I think that's it for this. I'll leave up this, the code. The only code we really changed, other than doing a quick console log trio, was writing the 3 return functions. Find icon, receives a word, either rock, paper, scissors, and returns the image URL. Randomly choose, receives any list, and returns an item for the list. This is a useful enough function to have in almost any app that that has lists. It doesn't take up much space, and you can always just call random choose instead of this entire block of code, and it's generic enough that it's probably worth it. And it gets sent to list, and it gets returned. Well, I guess item is the right word, because if you sent it a list of, let's say nums is a list of nums. Oh wait, I gotta do actual list. And then we call, well, we need an output, so we'll do a console log, and we call that function random choose, and we send it the name of the list, which is nums, and this should spit out one of those 5 numbers. It does. There's 5, there's 7, there's 7 again. Okay, so it works for numbers, and it of course works for strings. And that's why it says returns an item, because if we send it a list of strings, it's going to return one of the items, one of the strings. So that is actually a correct term. And you wouldn't say index, because it's not returning the index, it's returning whatever's at that index. Okay, we could have it set up to return just a random index, in which case we wouldn't need this list here. We would just do a random number in the valid range. But that's that. And then the last one is our algorithm for, this is a rock, paper, scissors algorithm. Okay, when we talk about algorithms later, it's, well, this is the algorithm coded. Algorithm is just sort of the generic, like not even pseudocode, just sort of like paragraph form or list form of what is the problem? Well, first we check if it's a tie, regardless of what they are. Then we check what the player's choice is, either rock, paper, or the only other scenario is scissors. And once it picks one of these three main channels, it addresses the if else that's inside of it and returning one of each. And where was the other example? I think that's probably it. I'll switch text mode, and so you can see it in all its text glory. There is the main function, the if, okay, and there is find icon. There is random choose, and there is decide winner. This is just so later on you can pause it and see if you are missing, like it should be 2 parentheses. Actually, it doesn't really need to be 2 parentheses so long as it matches. A lot of times App Lab will throw an extra parentheses depending on how you drag the blocks around. It thinks it needs to be protected more. But if you just if you double up parentheses, it doesn't change anything. And I think that's it for lesson 4. Good job. That was definitely a full day. And